Hello and welcome to the Medusas Live. We are still in the quarantine. I like to mention that just so that everybody remembers this amazing time in our world, also known as the Great Pause. So we have a lot of recapping to do. A lot of things happened. A lot of things were revealed. Let's share some perspectives, shall we? DJ, Bullstrong found out some things. Yes? Why don't you tell the audience some of the things that were found out?
I have a kid and a wife, and also I probably got betrayed by a guy in my tribe, and he stole a future position of power.
Yes. And Jordan, Areia learned some things as well about some of the dynamics, some of the background of things that happened. What are some of those things?
Okay, so she learned that when they said that they have to bring gifts, it's basically them paying for their own lives with something that's valuable to them.
Yes.
She also learned about like challenging the leader for a position of power.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Magnus, you were sneaking around quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yes. What were some of the things that you came to learn?
I mean, when I was sneaking around, I found out, well, basically that, like, just when they were approaching the tent that, or when they were still in their tent, that they were talking about us, and they're like, oh, they've been here for several days, and, like, Bullstrong doesn't remember stuff, and then that's when they came to approach us. And then, as far as I remember, the last time I was sneaking around, I was still outside the tent, so I don't really know what happened then, but...
Now, some of you didn't have a whole lot going on other than the ability to meet the chief. Jennie, talk a little bit about your impressions of that audience.
The audience?
Introduced to the chief.
Oh.
What's the chief's name?
The chief's name is Iron Talon.
Good. And what does he look like?
He's big and he doesn't really like he's a big guy and he's got some weird features going on, like some spooky vibes that might not be normally akin to just a barbarian Goliath. He's got like blue eyes or something. Weird eyes.
Not blue. Anybody remember?
Weren't they green?
Green?
Yes.
Green.
They were very vibrant, not glowing, but very bright green eyes. And what happened to his hair?
White.
Yes. Is he old?
No.
No. Was he always huge?
No.
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 He was a tiny guy before in their memories.
Oh boy.
Okay. So, before we get into the present, which is a relevant word, I suppose, because all of you will need to determine what presents, in fact, aka gifts, you are intending to provide. But before we get into the present, I have a special announcement to make to the fans who are watching live, or if you're watching this later on replay. The kids have graduated. They're all grown up. Congratulations on your commencement into life. The Medusas are done with high school.
Except for DJ, who was done last year.
Yeah. And even though you can't see Andria also passed high school.
Spirit.
Yes, you are here in volume. So congratulations to all of you as you leave high school and move onwards. But back to the game. A little time passes, you guys gather in your tent, and you need to determine what your plan is for the gifts, because Iron Talon gave you a time frame. Did he not, Areia?
Oh, I think last time we ended, I was outside the tent still. Did I hear anything that they, like anything else interesting that they said, or?
No.
Okay.
And you also notice that everybody else who went in, like, was dismissed. So as far as you know and can hear and see, Iron Talon is in the chief's tent by himself.
Okay.
Okay, so what are y'all gonna do?
Okay, so we have till the morning, right? Because he said that he would have a decision by morning.
Yes. Are you considering what gifts you are planning on giving?
I don't have to give a gift, right? Because I'm a member of the tribe.
Correct.
But we do.
So we have to present 4 gifts. The
Wait,
first,
4? Isn't it?
Sinjin.
Oh yeah, Mubby.
So the first thing that came to my mind, and again, I don't know what value is this considered, but we could present them for gems. Those seem to be the ones we found were of fairly high value. I don't know if that's worth a life, but it seems like the most valuable things that we have that we could present to them.
Yeah.
We could teach him a dance.
Dance.
Yeah.
From how I've seen Areia dance, I think they know as much as they're gonna learn.
Yeah.
I think Aria's a really good dancer.
Random shade.
No malice
So-
intended. I don't know. Like you Goliaths, you should know a little more about your culture. Maybe not a concussion over here, but the other one. You know, Areia, does that seem like the value of a life?
The gems?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that
think-
could be enough.
You think that there's like a hierarchy that's more focused on utility than straight up value. So for them, like something that's extremely useful, like a very useful tool set or powerful weapons would be, you know, at a higher end of that hierarchy. But gems are certainly worth a lot, and they don't weigh as much as carrying around a sack of gold, so that might also be considered acceptable.
Yeah.
That's what Areia would kind of know.
Yeah. So if you guys have any weapons or anything that would serve use in like a nomadic tribe, those would also be worth quite a bit.
We could. Didn't we find a lot of like extra equipment in that cave? I don't know if somebody can look through the supplies and let me know, but maybe there's something in there that they would find particularly valuable as equipment.
Didn't we find a bunch of long swords? I feel like I had that written down. We found some swords and stuff.
Yes, we got long
think-
swords, battle axes, chainmail.
Yeah,
So
maybe that's
you Areia, you would know that the armor is not worth very much to them, but the weapons might be.
yeah. So not armor, but weapons. Let's see, what else did we get?
I mean, all I remember, I know we got the egg, but obviously that seems more useful to us, not something we'd want to give up. Just like,
Plus, I don't think that they'd want that really, but they might. I mean, you never know. I know that I'm not supposed to give a gift, but if one of you needed something, I have like a bow, and I also have hunting traps. So
I just found the list. Oh, sorry, what?
So what's in the supplies?
Okay, so there was a chest with treasure, so 6 gems and 50 gold each. There was a potion of climbing, magical wand, chest with 11 platinum, 72 gold, 321 silver, and 721 copper. 6 gray cloaks, 12 long swords, 6 battle axes, 7 suits of chainmail armor, 4 climbing kits, a large egg, and an arrow with ancient elven ruins.
What if we gave them battle axe? I mean, I suppose they have those, but I
You
don't
could
know.
also maybe give them climbing gear because I mean we are in the mountains, and
Oh,
they're strong, but climbing gear is always useful.
How many climbing gear is that again?
There's 4 climbing kits.
For each
So-
of you.
That would be one for each.
Or we could give them like 2 climbing kits, 2 long. Would they use long swords?
Mm-hmm. I will say another thing that Areia would know and be able to share with you. It certainly would not hurt your odds of surviving if you gave them more stuff than just like one
Yeah,
thing.
like-
You know what I mean? Like if you rendered unto the chief like a lot of gifts, it might be taken as a greater gift as a whole.
Yeah, so it's not just like a one gift minimum. Like if we theoretically, because we already have weapons, like if we gave them all of the axes or all of the swords and a couple of the climbing kits or something like that, then you'd have better chances. You'd probably be okay.
Well, I mean, the excess weapons would probably be the easiest thing to give away because all
'Cause
we
we don't
were
need 'em.
planning to do with that is just like pawn
Sell
them
'em.
anyway. So I suppose if we volunteer the axes and maybe, since there's like 12 long swords, like 6 axes and 6 swords, that's a dozen pieces of equipment for only 4 lives. It seems like it would weigh out a lot.
Yeah. I could dig that.
At this point, St. John peeks into the tent. 12 longswords? Wow. Give them some of those.
Thanks, Engine.
Yeah, thanks.
It does occur to you also, Areia, that depending on how you try to go out of where you are, you guys might need climbing kits, because if you try to go east, like towards the Mantirum, you're going to have to kind of traverse some rough terrain and do some climbing to get out of the area that you're in.
Yeah, so
Back
we
down
might
through the Midlands.
want to keep the climbing stuff.
Yeah.
So we volunteer the equipment then? Does that sound?
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
Yeah.
It sounds like the smartest option here.
Okay.
How many again? Is it like all of the equipment, or should we just? I'm not sure.
You guys make your choices, but you have 30 more seconds to decide, and then I'm going to fast forward time.
Oh, okay. There's 12 long swords and 6 battle axes, so like 6 swords, 6 axes.
Maybe like 10
Yeah.
swords, 6 axes. That sounds legit.
Yeah, because
Alright.
we don't need all of them.
And it's
All
not.
right.
Need any of
10
them.
swords, 6 axes. That's a plan. We're
Okay.
good.
Okay, you've made your decisions. Is there anything any of you plan or need to do while you're waiting till the morning?
I would just, while we're waiting, I did want to inquire on if the Oracle's path, is that like where we would be advancing to, or would we have to trek back on
So the Oracle is north. The Mantirum is east or southeast from where you are. The Oracle is about a 2-day journey north.
Yeah, so I don't know if you,
much out of our way, or
I mean, what would we be going there to do? Like, I know we'd have questions, but is there anything specific that we'd go looking for?
well, I know we're not trying to get too off topic, but it does seem like it might help also with Bullstrong recovering more of these memories. Possibly the Oracle might know some way to help with that. And if I'm not mistaken, Oracles are familiar with some types of magic. Is that correct?
Sort of with divination a little bit. Like they're able to divine stuff about the future.
I could get green eyes. I want green eyes and white hair. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think we could go up there if we wanted to.
If it's not too off our path, it might be very helpful in our endeavor. As long as we don't die.
So what about Varna?
Yeah, I was gonna say, gonna have to go talk to Varna.
Yeah, you gotta make a decision, my dude.
What did she say? Is
She wishes to come with us on adventures and raise my son with me.
your son?
Little Stormstrong.
Storm Mountain.
Storm Mountain.
Well, how exactly do you plan to protect a child on these adventures? They're quite dangerous.
There's 2 parents.
That's true. Also, we take Sinjin with us. And we take, remember when you and I were alone and we were escorting those little kids?
I do recall that. I suppose it wouldn't be too dangerous.
I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us, 7 plus Varna. I think we might be able to figure something out.
I understand if that is what you wish. Plus, Varna seems like a very strong woman. It couldn't hurt to have another Goliath with us.
She seems pretty cool. So what do you think, Bullstrong?
So we're gonna go talk to Varna.
Well, I'm not sure if it's a we. I think this might be a you kind of thing.
Also, didn't what happens with Iron Talon? What if he just decides that that you die?
He won't though.
Okay, but I recall when I was talking to Goliaths at the feasting, I don't think you remember, Areia might, but they refer to you as a ghost because you do not retain all your memories. And if Iron Talon still considers you a ghost to the tribe, he might not just make you leave, because they mentioned to me that usually a ghost you have to burn. You have to you have to burn the body. So it's very possible he could decide to burn your body. And that would kind of bring a little bit of a damper on this nice little fairy tale romance.
So.
But
That's uncomfy.
So
I don't know if I'm thinking about this correctly, but at least from my point of view, I don't think he could challenge Bullstrong to a duel, like legally, because he's not an actual member of the tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Which either means that he would have to challenge somebody else, or that he would be breaking the rules. And if he was breaking the rules and tried to kill Bullstrong, then there's nothing stopping all of us from fighting him.
Yes, your legal interpretation of tribal barbarian law is pretty accurate. It's a kind of a catch-22 because right now Bullstrong is like not a member of the tribe, so Bullstrong can't challenge Iron Talon for leadership of the tribe. But Iron Talon also can't like outright kill Bullstrong. He can't murder Bullstrong or challenge him to one-on-one combat, because then if he does that, then he's recognizing Bullstrong as a member of the tribe.
Right.
So
So it's
Bullstrong is kind of in a limbo in his social status within the tribe right now.
yeah. So he can't. If he decides to murder him outright, then the entire tribe would see the leader breaking tradition and breaking rules, which would not be good.
I'll hide in the shack, the shaman shack.
Well, is he a ghost though?
He's considered one because he doesn't have any of his memories, so he's not really a member of the tribe because
But-
he's not himself.
Well, how they referred to him, I just worry that the leader might consider it, being that he does seem to be a ghost, and a lot of people in the tribe considered him a ghost, that if he decided that he should be burned, that would still be, because it's not really murdering him, it's not saying that it's not really acknowledging him as part of the tribe, but it is acknowledging that he is a ghost.
Based on when he made his judgment and told you guys that he would make his decision and let you know in the morning, that most likely right now means that he's caught between either acknowledging Bullstrong's existence, but then Bullstrong has a right to be in the tribe and a right to challenge for chief, which if he wants to do that and kill Bullstrong legally, he would have to acknowledge Bullstrong. But if he just wants Bullstrong to go away, then he wouldn't acknowledge Bullstrong. He would consider Bullstrong a ghost and then banish him.
I have a bad feeling.
Well, even if you could challenge, well, would you really want to be chief?
I mean, it would be cool.
But if you were, you would have to stay here then, would you not?
No, he wasn't here when we got here.
But he comes back. Like,
I'm fine having a summer house. That's cool. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, if you challenged and became chief, you would have to stay with the tribe. Wow. Jennie's right.
So you couldn't continue adventuring with us, and whatever deal you made with Trixie would be no.
Well,
then we need you, buddy.
And I guess I'm just gonna have to run away with my newfound wife and child into the sunset and abandon my people.
As you say that, make an intelligence check.
You can do it. I'm sure this one won't hurt.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
16.
So Bullstrong is saying this kind of sarcastically, you know, as I guess I'm going to have to run away with my newfound wife and child, and blah, blah, blah. And he says this, and then you guys see him just kind of like freeze up and his eyes sort of glaze over. What happens in your brain, Bullstrong, is a flash of like white light kind of strobing in your brain for a second, and like you don't see everybody inside of the tent. It's just this absurd like flash of lights, and then you see yourself walking out of a tent, like through your own eyes, like point of view. You walk out of a tent and you find yourself like in some small human village, like with farms. And you see not far off two men talking, and there's like a human man who's, you know, kind of middle-aged and out of shape, and he's holding the reins to a horse. And then there's this very slight, well-dressed man with long blonde hair who has his back to you, and they're talking, and then he turns, and the blonde elf is the same blonde elf that you saw in your previous dream flashback, and he looks at you and he beckons you to come over. And then you start walking over. And then the lights flash again in your brain, and you're back in the tent with everyone.
Every time he has a flashback, I just imagine the scene from Charlie in the Chocolate Factory where they're walking and then he just goes.
Yeah.
You good there, buddy?
No.
What's wrong?
No? Want to talk about it?
So it looked like I stared at the sun really hard, and then I saw, I think, a memory, I guess. I don't know, maybe it's the future, maybe it's the past, maybe it's another dimension or something, I don't know. But I saw me getting told, I was talking to a really nice looking elf guy with really long blonde hair again, and some nice, decent looking clothes. I mean, you know, not my fashion, I like to be naked, but you know. He would point it in a direction, and then I looked at the sun again, basically, I don't know.
You know, that sounds really familiar every time you say it. I think that's definitely ringing a bell. I don't know how many long, blonde-haired, well-dressed elves there are, but I know one of them. Areia knows one of them. Be quite a coincidence.
Ascension probably does.
Oh, for sure. Strange.
Is that all you say, Andria? Is just Sinjin probably does?
Are you gonna ask Sinjin?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna wave, but I can't like show you that I'm waving. But yeah,
Okay.
I call over Sinjin.
The flap opens up and Sinjin comes in and she's yes, what is it? She looks around curiously.
Well, Bullstrong told us he had a vision about this blonde-haired elf, very slender. Do you know any possible entity that could have that besides Magnus's kind? Maybe higher up, kind of. Now you finished like that.
Sinjin's like, I know many elves. Do you want me to look into Bullstrong's mind and have a clearer image?
Sure.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Have you been able to do that like this whole time, or?
Yes.
Well, thanks for letting us know. That's very useful.
I am happy to help. She smiles and she you notice she comes over towards you, Bullstrong. She sits down across from you, and you guys see a very familiar pose. Quite often you've seen her in this pose before when she's meditating. She sits down, she closes her eyes and like puts her hands out, and she's begins breathing and like slowly breathing, and she's like, join me in breathing. And you begin kind of following the pace of her breathing. Bullstrong, are you playing along?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. All right. She reaches her hands out slowly and puts them on your temples. And she's like, relax, close your eyes, and breathe with me. Feel your body begin to relax. You hear no external sounds or distractions. Your body continues to relax. And she does this for like 10 minutes straight. And after about 10 minutes, she's like, as your body continues to relax, your mind becomes free. Your mind becomes free. Free to leave your body and cross over onto the astral plane. Cross over onto the astral plane. And then she's silent. Her fingertips are just ever so slightly still touching your mind. All right, now you're going to make an intelligence check with advantage.
All right.
15 or 1. So
15.
That'll work. But before I reveal what you find out, I have a very, very special announcement as we are live. All of you members of the graduating class of 2020 are going to get a little present from DoD Spec Ops. He's sending $20 to each of you, which I will pay because that money goes to me, so I will pay it to you. So thank you, DoD. Just a little graduation gift from one of our great patrons and great supporters on the channel. Thank you, DoD. And to all of you guys tonight who have been so generous. You guys are awesome, and you're really making this awesome. So, and I vow this, as soon as this damn quarantine is lifted and we can get together, I'll take the rest of that money and buy pizzas, and we'll have a pizza party.
Oh, thank
okay.
you.
Thanks, DoD. You're the best.
That's so nice.
So, Bullstrong, you feel a little different this time. Your flashes of light are not as intense, and they don't cause pain. It's just one flash to white and then out from white. And you find yourself walking alongside the blonde elf who is riding on a horse. And you're just going down the road and you're talking. And the conversation is all about kind of like what you're going to be doing and what's really important to you, and whether or not you care for your people, and you care for what will happen to this continent. Do you seek to be oppressed, or do you seek to be free? Would you see this continent destroyed, or would you see it saved? And as you have this conversation with him, as you're walking along the road, you ask him a question. You ask him, well, what should I call you? He says, my name is Tertingi, but you can call me Lord Finup.
Ah!
And then you awaken from the memory. So, Bullstrong, that is what you and you alone remembered.
All right. Sinjin didn't see this, or we don't know?
You're not sure what Sinjin knows.
All right.
But Sinjin kind of steps back. And Sinjin is like, she looks at you and bows. And then she gets up from her lotus position and walks out, closes the tent flap.
All right.
Sharing is caring.
All right. This elf dude, his name is Tertingi or Turkey Sandwich, something like that.
Tertingi.
His other name that he said was Finup.
That's the one. That's the one we were talking about. Remember, Areia?
Yes, and I feel like I've heard that other name before.
Make a history check.
Let's go. That is 15.
Well, it's not a very common name, but you do know of a major world leader who happens to be the Overking of the Great Kingdom of Malakun, whose name is Tertingi Malakuni.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the leader of Malakun, which is to the west, right?
And by the way, the largest and most powerful kingdom on the continent.
His name is Tertingi Malakuni. And I'm not saying that it's like a not common name, but it's not a common name. So I'm assuming they might be the same person.
So what could that mean?
No idea, but that means that we're friends with a world leader, which is something. With 2 now, because we're friends with the king too.
We
It
should get him
occurs
to
to
take down
you-
Iron Talon.
It occurs to both you, Areia, and you, Capella, that you were only introduced to him as with him introducing himself as Lord Fynuk. This revelation of this name is curious to you.
I'm confused.
Yeah, it raises the question on why he was running around at a party in a continent that isn't his. Remember when we met him, we saw him like shiftily running around and trying to collect stuff.
I do remember that. It was very confusing. But we also like literally signed up for this this endeavor like the day we met him. So
We did.
I think like we were full committal to that, like on point, like so.
I have a really good idea. You should send a message to him and see if he's there.
2 questions. 1, under
Yes.
Lord Fynuk or under to the other one?
I don't know. I think either might work.
And 2, what should I try to say?
I don't know. It's just that when we were with Trixie, they were saying that they didn't see him for a while, so I was just wondering maybe where he is.
Our patron Ann Adams just added a little graduation gift to you guys. Thank you, Annie. That's very sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what time it is?
What? Carafa? Oh my. Well,
Because
while you guys are deciding what message to send to who, I'm going to enjoy this Coke Zero break, sponsored by tonight's live stream.
But no, I think we could probably send. I could just try to send. Are you there? Are you okay? Are you with us?
What if you sent a message to him that said, "Hey, Bullstrong remembers who you are now. Just wondering if you're still alive or where you are."
Okay.
If you're still alive, might seem a little odd.
Yeah,
Well,
just
I think it's a fair point, though.
yeah. They did say that he sort of just disappeared off the face of the planet. So
It would be very dampering to have been working for somebody deceased all this time. That would be unfortunate.
that would mean that we get to keep the orbs.
I don't know what to do with these orbs, but I will try. So, am I just gonna try Lord Fynuk because I'm not aware of this
You
name?
reach down to your tattoo, and remembering your concentration, you touch the tattoo to activate it, and you feel your senses reaching out as you concentrate on Lord Fynuk. Speak your message.
We have recovered Bullstrong's memory. Please let us know if you are alive and well. That's all.
Okay. Make a wisdom save
Wisdom save?
at disadvantage.
Oh.
You just get insta-killed.
Wait a minute. Isn't this guy a good guy?
I don't know. Maybe they're all bad guys. Maybe that's
5.
Even.
A 5.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what happens to you, Capella.
No.
You guys externally see her touch the tattoo, and you see her like lips muttering the words that she's kind of speaking telepathically, and then she like sets down and like looks at all of you like just waiting, and then you see her eyes roll up in the back of her head, a gush of blood comes out of her nose, and then she just falls back.
Oh my god!
I run over and I cast Spare the Dying on her.
Okay,
Can I
good. Because I
catch
was going to
her?
say she's at 0 hit points right now.
Yeah, I cast Spare the Dying. What the hell?
Wow.
So
Okay,
much
and
for
then
your
I'm gonna do Cure Wounds at 3rd level then.
All right,
I see all the blood coming out.
Jennie.
I'm trying to die right now. Too bad Bullstrong's phone unplugged as we did this.
Uh-oh.
Dave, did the boxes move?
He's still here, but like
no,
his phone's gonna die.
I'm just trying
Oh.
not to disappear.
Find the extension cord.
So, Jordan, you cast Cure.
Yes, 1 second.
Can I at least catch her before she hits the ground?
Can
We'll
someone
say
catch
that
it?
with your ridiculous dex, you catch her before her head hits the ground. And
Cool.
her eyes are like rolled in the back of her head. She's out. Like,
Wow.
you know, just face of blood.
I hate that.
Okay, you get 15 hit points back.
Okay. After Areia heals you, when you open your eyes, you're very disoriented because just a few seconds ago, it feels like you had just sent a message and you were looking at everybody, and now like you taste blood in your mouth and you're like laying in Magnus's lap, and like Areia's standing over you, like healing you, and everybody's looking alarmed.
What happened?
Are you okay?
You sent a message and then your eyes rolled back in your head and you almost died.
When she says that, make an intelligence check.
16.
Suddenly you have a flash. You remember what happened. A powerful white light slammed into your brain, and you heard a voice that was not normal. It was like multiple voices, like a female voice at its core that was very powerful, with like a harmonic upper level voice and then like a tritone lower voice that was in your brain. And it said to you in this powerful concussive force, "He is imprisoned and shall remain so with me." That's what you heard.
Tritones are never good, homies.
I just slump. I'm afraid of this.
Okay.
But I heard that's not what I hear during the messages. It was like,
No.
it was harmonic, and whatever this voice was, it said he's imprisoned, and the whiteness, it literally knocked me out.
Andria.
Yes. That sounds familiar.
What? Yeah. Right, then you don't need to make a roll. It sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
This experience, though minus the bloody nose and almost dying, this experience reminds you, as she's describing it, as Capella's describing it to you, it reminds you a lot of how you experience communicating with your patron.
I think I will tell the group like my assumptions.
Well,
at
tell
least. Yeah, this sounds vaguely familiar.
Vaguely?
What do you
Grab my
mean
chin,
familiar?
and I think.
Have you almost died before?
Well, I had a similar experience, you could say, with it. With my god, Taik.
Taik?
Yeah.
So is this, and I'm gonna call Sinjin. I'm gonna say Sinjin, because I know Sinjin.
Yes? What is it?
Say, Can you communicate with Taik?
Yes.
Being a bad boy.
Has he ever, does he sound like how, like an echo harmonic? Is that how he sounds, with bright white light? And
They can sound like that from time to time. If they are speaking directly to your mind, they can.
well, I tried to message Fanoop, and now apparently my message is getting blocked by your god.
I do not think so.
Hmm?
Taik would not speak to you. You are celestial. She looks at Amity and she's like, did you sense Taik was here?
No, but I felt
Then
I had.
then they were not.
But
Had
Capella,
Taik spoken, if Taik had spoken to you, Capella, then Amity would surely have heard them.
but Capella, since she's celestial, when I explained about my experience with Taik previously, before you even became a part of the group, I had this recurring dream stuff. I would see lights from the night sky, shining colors, and then eventually Capella saw it too, just a little bit. So I think she's capable of seeing these kind of things.
Yes, but not Taik. She saw a different thing, no? She's like, what did the voice say to you?
The voice told me that Fanoop is imprisoned.
Was it a male voice or a female voice?
It was many voices, but it mainly sounded more female.
When you heard this voice, meta moment, who is carrying the milk of Vusek? When you heard this voice, unmeta moment, when you heard this voice, did you feel any sensations from the godstone you carry?
I do not
Warm,
think,
cold, nothing? Vibrations?
do not think I did.
I will meditate upon this.
Wait, where is the stone? I know you have it on you. Where like in your pocket?
Like in a like, you know, the side bag, like just on your hip, but like very close, tucked into my belt, so it's not just hanging off like a coin satchel.
Yeah, wait, take it out. Is it any different?
So I'm gonna reach down and I'm gonna take it out.
It looks the same, feels the same. Still, you know, it still has the, as you hold it up, you could see the blue glow and the swirling blue that's almost like heavy water within the blue stone, and it's you sense its power, but it doesn't feel any different than it did like when you first picked it up or as you carried it.
Well, whatever this is, it's clearly dangerous, and I don't know how else we're going to communicate. Unfortunately I can't message again, but Areia, I feel maybe if you could, or Amity, do you have the markings as well?
Yeah,
Areia and Amity are the only other ones that have the tattoo.
I wouldn't do it though because I'm the only one who can bring you back if you die.
No,
and I've
I've
already saved 2 of you from death already, and I don't feel like.
Well, Amity?
Yeah, I could try. I think I'm more capable because I think they'll recognize me in some kind of rank.
Well, my idea was actually to warn Trixie and the companion she travels with to not do that, because they were also trying to get in contact with him, and if you did that at the wrong time without a cleric at hand, that could go very poorly.
Well, I mean,
Choices.
yeah.
Or Areia could try to message Trixie, and you could try to message Fanoop again, see how that goes for you, Mr. Tiefling Bloodline
I mean, I have
Warlock.
Sinjin to protect me if I get trapped or something. Like, you know, she can go in the astral realm with Bullstrong, so why not with me, you know?
It is your choice. Whoever you'd like to message, whatever you think would be best, make your choice, please. But
Meta moment. How many spell slots do you have left for your healing powers, Areia?
I mean, I have a bunch because Cure Wounds and Healing Word are first level, so I have all my 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st
Okay.
slots.
All right. So, Amity, what are you going to do?
We could take this to the Oracle, or I could do it right now impulsively. That's a good question. Well, I'm gonna do impulsively, so let's try it.
So you grab your tattoo, and who are
Yeah.
you reaching out to? Lord Finoop?
Yeah, the same. It's kind of like
Ask it
all gonna
who
get
it
a-
is. Amity, ask it who it is.
what it is. Okay.
So you actually have to say the message.
Okay. So, or Finoop. If this is even him, what is? Who am I actually talking to? If I were to contact, yeah.
Okay. Make a wisdom save at disadvantage.
Assassin. Okay. Eight.
8. All right. Now it's time for special game mechanics, everybody. I have 2 die, 2 of the D10s. This is a percentile. Amity, what is your charisma?
Charisma. 20.
And what is 20? Okay, 27. All right, I got it. The result is a 13. So this is what happens. All of you see Amity, and you see him, his eyes roll back in his head, and you see him start to waver, but blood doesn't shoot out of his nose. His eyes roll back in his head, and he like kind of bolts upright, and he freezes there. Amity, this is what you experience in your brain.
Okay.
You send your message, and then all of a sudden you feel this bright flash of light fill your brain. You can't see anything, you can't hear anything, and you hear this voice. And it's not how you experience Taik's voice. It's a female voice, but with like a high harmonic and like a lower tritone. Similarly to what Capella described, but now you're like hearing this in your brain. And it says, I said he is with me. He is imprisoned, and he shall so remain. Who are you to ask my name? And then you hear another voice. And this voice is the voice of Taik, because you've experienced this voice before. And you hear the voice of Taik say, them. And then you wake up. And that is where we will end this episode of the Medusas. I want to say again a huge thank you to all of you patrons tonight who donated through the super chat, and I just want you guys to know that once I count up all that loot, I will divvy it up to the party. So thank you, and again, congratulations to all the Medusas who graduated and are moving on into the next chapter of life. It's been a wild ride, and we will see you next week, everybody.
Yeah.
Snare,